Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Martin and we're back with Firefly for the last time. Well, not the last time, we'll do Serenity as well, but for the last time of the series, this is it. This is the final episode. Last time on Firefly we had an interesting episode that I enjoyed quite a bit about sort of a under fire group of people who were being tormented by the worst kind of person you can imagine, and the crew came in to help them, but there was all kinds of interesting subtext going on, especially between Mal and Inara, like their views of each other and where that's been building up to. And ultimately, at the end of the episode, Inara made the choice to step away from the crew as basically Mal and her were open about their feelings for one another in a way where they didn't actually admit it to one another, but they did. And it was interesting. It was an interesting scene, and it was kind of could see it coming, but the way that episode was going, because Inara wants her freedom and her job, and if she decided to tie herself to Mal in that way, she would have to give all that up. And yeah, she's just not ready to do that just yet. So it was a kind of a gut punch, to say the least, but I can understand why it came to that point. Going into this episode, I'm interested to see, is she still there? Is she gone already? Will there be a scene her say goodbye to everyone? I like all that stuff. I'm interested to see if they put that into this episode or if it doesn't quite make it, because obviously this being the final episode, but the unplanned final episode for the show. So I'm not judging this based on is it a good finale. It'll be interesting to sort of comment on that, but it won't be the focus. It's just like I'm just interested to see what kind of an episode people saw for the last episode. Did it leave them wanting more? Obviously it did. But I'm just interested to see how the show wrapped itself up in its own way. But I don't know. Honestly, my expectations are that it will just be like a normal episode, because that is the situation the show found itself in, unfortunately. So I don't know. I just hope for another fun episode, really. That's all I can ask for, and hopefully we get it. So without further ado, let's look at the final episode of Firefly. Also, this is a little side note, because this is the final episode of Firefly. If you have suggestions for other shows that you think might be good for this channel, good for me, please do leave those down below. I will have a look at them, and there's a chance I might have already seen them if you throw one out there, but I just want to get an idea really of what other shows people might be interested in seeing. I've got a couple in my own head as well, but you know how it goes. Interesting. She hears things. She's hearing voices. Or dreams, maybe?
I would be there right now.
Oh god. Something is tripping the system here. This is getting weird.
I got stupid. The money was too good.
I don't give half a hump if you're innocent or not. So where does that put you?
What the fuck is going on? Is this like people's deepest inner truths are just flooding out? In that case, is Shepard okay? Is there some therapy he needs? That is incredibly awkward. Walk away. Just keep walking away.
I'm a big girl, just tell me.
None of it means a damn thing.
Both of those make sense. I can get where those two are coming from.
Doesn't mean what you think.
You know that's not
Yelling at her.
sweetheart. You want nothing to do with that. Just put it down.
That escalated real quick. Jeez. This is certainly the most
Medical jargon. I'll talk to a doctor.
involved we've seen,
You are talking to a doctor.
like River's perception of things. Like it's good. It's
She might have shot. Just the
it's
doctor.
making it a little bit easier to understand from her point of view. That's for damn sure.
We're very much alone out here.
No, you're not. There's someone behind you. Oh, here we go. Last time we're gonna hear this. Someone's bringing out the old fucking flute or whatever it is.
Where's River at now?
In her room, which I'm thinking we bolt from the outside from now on.
It's a little extreme, isn't it?
Anybody remember her coming at me with a butcher's knife?
I mean, that did happen.
As far as we know, the girl's never even picked up a gun before.
That ain't so.
Yeah, Kaylee saw some shit. She fucking took out 3 or 4 people without looking at them. I feel it might be worth me knowing. This is a fucking risky maneuver, this shit. Just gonna jump down in space. He could easily just go fucking flying. Oh, now he's moving to the music.
And they was spread out, you know, had some cover. But she only looked for a second and
Blasted him.
took my gun, closed her eyes, killed him.
Boom, boom, boom. All gone.
Shot them?
Yep.
All 3. Right after, she looked at me and she smiled. Like nothing was wrong.
I mean, that was a little weird.
I'm not
Probably didn't even know what was going on. You know, thought it was a game.
Later on, you can explain to me.
I mean,
for
that's...
comfort.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what I was about to say.
Math we
That's not a
hear about.
comforting
Here to
thought at
deal
all.
with is- I
Sometimes.
don't think she's intuitive, Doctor. I think she's a reader.
Psychic?
Is that even remotely possible?
I would say it's pretty possible.
Psychic, though? That sounds like something out of science fiction.
You live in a spaceship, dear.
So,
Or very meta on the nose joke.
oh, dear enough.
This guy seriously has his own personal flute player. Everywhere he goes. Oh my god.
How did you get on?
Strains the mind a bit, don't it? You think you're all alone? Maybe I come.
Well, he jumped from his ship to this ship
bring
in a
presents to the good girls and boys.
stupid maneuver. That's what I'd
Maybe
call
not,
it.
though. You throw a monkey wrench into my dealings in any way, your body is forfeit.
This guy is a fucking
And I
creep.
can find
Anyone who talks like a weird poet
on your back.
man, a weird poet threatened man is a weirdo. Don't fall for it, Shepard. Don't fall for it. This is a clear trap. Although, oh, there he goes! Crazy man jumping down the stairs. River is gone. Presumably, she can sense that this person's on the ship. Oh my god, he's fucking dead.
Are you Alliance?
Am I a lion?
What?
I don't think of myself
What?
as a lion.
What the fuck?
I might as well, though.
Is he?
Have a
This guy
mighty
okay?
roar.
So you're a bounty hunter.
That ain't it at all.
Then what are you?
I'm a bounty hunter.
What the fuck? What is going on? This conversation.
Early.
And which part of your plan dictated the necessity of beating up a shepherd?
That ain't a shepherd.
I mean, he is a shepherd now.
She wouldn't come in
Unless
here
he was
anyway,
lying
in
about
Jason's
that.
room.
What the fuck is he doing now?
I know you're on this ship, little girl. So here's how this goes. You show your
Jane
love,
not waking up?
faceless
No,
Jane.
of course not.
They didn't want her here, but she couldn't make herself leave. So she melted away. They didn't know she could do that.
I'm calling bullshit on all this. She's hiding somewhere with a microphone. That's what's really going on.
Not on.
I don't know where it came from.
It's okay. Gonna be okay.
That would be fucking freaky though, if you're out in space on your
You
own
were.
and just a random guy shows up. Like, how the
sorry.
fuck did that happen?
That's somewhat unsettling.
I'm a spooky ghost ship.
Mr. Jupe, I need you to trust me.
Am I dreaming?
We
No.
all are.
Well, that's
Don't
a.
make faces. He's faster than you. All of you. And he's wearing armor.
What about his face?
Armor. He's wearing leather.
Face wear?
I'm very close to him. He doesn't even see it.
Okay, but
Go now.
Team activate. Go.
You like to hurt folk. It's why you took the job. Power, control, pain. Your mother knew.
He's a creep. Just like I said.
Sadness, big golden retriever sitting on the lawn. Never took to you.
What the
Smelling you.
hell is going on?
You're not in my girl mind. You're on my girl ship. Good job. I'm not 100%.
Talk too much.
I'm flawed in that way.
That's a damn
Sometimes
sure.
go on.
I'll be your bounty, Jubal Early. And I'll just fade away.
Finally, something goes according to
Yeah, that looks like Simon's not going to go for that. Absolutely no way. Oh, that's a leg shot. That was in the fucking knee. So what was Mal doing? Mal's clearly got a job in all this. What's he doing? Oh, he's awake. Hey. Oh my god. That's it.
You think so? Some of us feel differently.
Shit. There he goes. He deserved that. Bye. Woo. Okay, that was a weird little shot, but funny nonetheless.
Give your brother a thrashing for messing up your plan.
He takes so much looking after.
It's true, he does.
Oh. Well, I'm a force. Let's see you match that.
Boom. She got at least one there.
Here I am.
Where you deserve to be, my friend. What a weird last line. There we go. That is the end. That was a sweet little ending moment there. Alright, that was the reaction to the final episode of Firefly, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment down below, and maybe consider subscribing. But now we're going to talk about this episode. So the first thing that comes to my mind after that is that I'm happy that the last episode, really sort of delved a bit more into River. Since she is kind of the crux of the main plot, it feels fitting that the final episode should shine more of a light onto her and give the audience more of a perception from her point of view of things, and also allow her to be more relatable in a way. Like this episode felt like it made strides to make her feel more relatable. Since the rest of the show, she's been this kind of enigma who obviously you feel bad for because she was put through horrendous experiments and all this kind of stuff, but it was hard to relate to what she was going through because the show, you know, was on purposely making her feel like you can't quite get a beat on her. That's like the whole thing with her throughout the show. But I liked that this final episode really sort of did that. It got you to see things through her eyes and understand how she was seeing things and understanding people and all that stuff. And yeah, I just enjoyed the fact that we got that in the show, that we got to see her side of things a little bit more without ruining the sort of mystery behind what she's actually capable of and all that, but showing it in a way that is just a lot more comprehensible to, you know, us people who don't have weird psychic abilities. I also really liked just this sort of ending shot of the episode where you sort of see just like the crew being a crew. It feels quite fitting to show them all in a, yeah, you know, last week I did say I felt like the ending of the last episode felt like it could have been a good place to end it off in a slightly sort of melancholy kind of way, and you know, maybe that's just my that's just my dark sense, I suppose, of how I like endings. But I actually quite enjoyed this as well. It was a nice way to sort of leave the crew in this like happy place where they're all sort of on the same page a lot more, and you know, just sort of enjoying being with each other. It was just a nice way to sort of cap it all off, I suppose. As for the sort of driving force for the episode, this bounty hunter coming on board and hunting down River, it's it's a fairly, you know, by the numbers kind of sci-fi plot. Like I said, this obviously wasn't planned to be the last episode. It's just this is how it went. But obviously the whole point of that plot is just to bring out like the best in River before the ending. Like, that's what it's there to do, and I mean, I must admit, it's a bounty hunter like I've never seen before. This weird kind of like poet who talks in not rhymes, but like he's comprehending everything in front of him all of the time. in a weird kind of parallel to River. You know, you've got this guy who's like talking about everything that he sees and trying to compare things and like has opinions about everything. He's kind of like this similar but opposite to River, where River is, you know, this empathetic, it's constantly thinking, but isn't talking too much. She's constantly thinking about everything because she can't help herself from doing that, and is empathetic towards everything around her, almost, you know, to a fault at times. And, you know, you put up against this guy who likes the sound of his own voice and thinks he's deep, but he probably isn't really that deep. At the end of the day, he's just as warped and nuts as, you know, you'd expect someone like that to be. And, you know, it just felt like a nice kind of, I don't know, sort of juxtaposition, like cross between those two characters that ultimately, as you know, the crew are just kind of in the way of these two's sort of fight as it plays out. Even though River sort of vanishes for a large chunk of the episode, it's still about her, which, you know, is an interesting way of doing it. I think the most interesting thing that came from this bounty hunter really was when he looked at Shepard and was like, that ain't no Shepard, like that's not what he is. That was probably the most interesting part of his dialogue, that his perception of things. And, you know, the show has been teasing that, you know, Shepard has a past that we're unaware of, and, you know, teases it. And also here we also got River sort of looking into his soul a little bit, and we could sort of see that a darker nature just sort of rised up from somewhere deep inside of him. And, you know, it was just an interesting way of, you know, very overtly revealing certain truths about him. So that was the most interesting sort of beat about what that bounty hunter was doing. The rest of it just felt like a guy who felt the need to have an opinion about everything and was a bit of a creep about it. Like that's how that character sort of came off to me anyway. But, you know, it was certainly, as I say, an interesting way of writing and creating a sort of a bounty hunter character who are normally, you know, portrayed as kind of these stoic, silent types. That's how bounty hunters in most media are done. To flip that on its head and give this bounty hunter a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking and a lot of, you know, crazy things to say that don't really mean anything in the end of the day. It's just an interesting way of doing that. I also really like the nice little moment towards the end between Mal and River, where obviously Mal showed some trust in her plan and idea and went with it, and then they had a nice little moment which we haven't really had. Like, Mal's kind of been at odds with River for a lot of the show, like just trying to figure what the best thing to do is about her, but obviously showing a desire to want to protect her because his moral compass will not allow a child who has been succumbed to some horrible experiments to, you know, be left out in the dark. Like, he wants to do the right thing by her. But this was, I feel like maybe, I can't really remember now. It's been so many episodes now. We've been doing this for like a couple months now. But it was nice to give those two a moment where they just sort of saw eye to eye for a moment and sort of understand one another. And yeah, good stuff. I was honestly kind of surprised that Inara was still on the ship. I kind of expected that they might have sort of done it off screen. I don't know why I thought they would do that, like her leaving off screen and stuff. Like, I just sort of assumed that this episode would pick up with them kind of talking about her leaving or something along those lines. But it's interesting that obviously the plan, I don't know what the plan was, let's be real. Like, maybe someone out there might have known if she was actually gonna come around to staying on board the ship, or if she was actually going to leave, or whatever the case may be. It's just interesting. I'm sure, as I say, someone out there knows what the plan was going to be for the rest of this season. I'm sure the creators have talked about it either in commentaries or convention panels, all that kind of shit. Now we're at the end of the show. Feel free to leave comments down below and sort of tell me what the initial plan for the rest of the season was going to be, if you know. I'd be interested to know how this season was going to play out had they got, you know, the full batch of episodes and were able to do what they wanted to do, I'm interested. But obviously, now we've got the movie to go into, and I'm sure that will pick up on some of the ideas and themes, and we'll try and wrap up some of those loose ends, which, as I said, I've seen the film before, but I've never been able to go into it to appreciate sort of that element of it, like wrapping up loose ends, character development, all that kind of stuff. So I will be generally fascinated to see that movie with a whole new context of this stuff what I did on top of it. But no, it was a solid episode. I enjoyed it. It's a shame the show ended, but I feel like it ended on a pretty strong note. Like I say, it was nice to sort of have a, kind of a loose but happy ending at the end, sort of seeing them all in a happy place, being with one another. Although there clearly were still some dangling threads of mysteries and stuff that didn't get to be explored, at least in their full potential. So yeah, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode. It was a good time. And I feel like now we're at the end, I should talk about this as well. The show overall is really good. As a surprise to no one. Like, I didn't feel like there was a weak episode. Like, if you were to compare it to other shows and stuff, the only episodes that I felt were weaker was when you compare them to the other really good episodes of this show. If that makes sense. Like, other than that, like, all the episodes are good. There's just some that sort of excel, and then when there's an episode that maybe doesn't excel quite as much, it kind of sticks out a little bit. But like I say, overall, I think the whole show is good. It's fun. It has a good balance between the sort of drama and the character development and the funny stuff, and all those things are just married together really well, and just a good fun time overall. I will probably rewatch the show at some point, and it's a good time. I'll also, if you've got recommendations, but I will also probably try and look into any other sort of media forms that Firefly has branched off into. I know that there are, I think, comic books and stuff, so maybe I will try and look at those as well and see what other elements of the story have been explored through other media. But like I say, I think the show it's really good. I don't understand the choice that got it pulled. I don't know if anyone else out there knows why it didn't get its full run, why it got treated the way that it did, if there was some behind the scenes drama or whatever the case. But I feel like the show is popular. I feel like the show, I don't know how well it did when it first aired, obviously, but I'm also kind of amazed that it hasn't really made a comeback in any way, shape or form, because clearly there's an audience for it. So I'm amazed that either whoever has the rights now hasn't done something with it. Does Disney have the rights to it now? I'm fairly sure they might do, right? Like, in that case, I'm really surprised that they haven't done anything with it. But no, it's a good show. I hope that they do something with it in the future, that they bring life back to it and see where that might go. And hopefully it's as good as this. I mean, it will be hard. It will be a hard thing to do, but I think it's probably worth it to bring this universe back to life. And I think that's probably the most suitable way to end this video, the final episode of Firefly. It's worth bringing back if anyone of importance might be listening to this. I doubt it very much, but you can add my voice to all the other millions of people who have been trying to tell you that it's worth trying to do something with again. There you go. Like I said, next time we will be looking at the movie, but just to reiterate, if you do have any ideas for shows to do next, please do leave a comment and I will put them under consideration. I'm probably not going to be doing any anime stuff, not because I'm averse to it, but it's really hard to keep that up on YouTube. I did do a Princess Mononoke video, but that video was doing really well and then it just got blocked. And I tried to redo it to get it put back up, but no good. And and I know other people on the reacting circle have a hard time getting anime shows up on YouTube and kept there. So I'm probably not going to be doing that simply for that reason. It's just too much of a pain in the ass to get those videos up and stuff, and I don't really have I just don't have the time or the resource to find other ways to make sure there are links to other things, so you can put the reaction there and have the discussion here. You know, all that stuff. It's just not in the wheelhouse at the moment, unfortunately. So try and keep it to live action if you can. I will be very much appreciative of that. But yeah, that is the end. I hope you enjoyed this ride with me, and I certainly have. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the thumbs up button if you did. It helps this video get seen by more people. And that is the end of Firefly. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss whatever future channel events and stuff and videos, I'm just rambling now, happen next. But I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've enjoyed the journey through Firefly as a whole. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.